No one makes videos on how to actually optimize your roofing ads, and we're going to change that today. We've generated over $3 million in roof replacements, and I'm going to go through the live step-by-step process on how we analyze and optimize roofing ads. Plus, we'll even cover a sneak peek into how we squeeze the juice out of our ads, because once you find a winner, you need to exploit it. So now we're in the ad account, and I'm going to take a look at some of these ads that we ran in the past. We started running these ads on August 7th, and if you see, within the first 3 days, we were seeing some results already. So if we sort this by amount spent, we had a few ads that that were doing pretty well already. As you can see, this ad immediately out of the gate had the best cost per lead. It got 4 leads at $23 a piece. And then this one, $46 a piece for 2 ads, for 2 leads, and then $46 in this one, $81. Okay, so as you can see, we're probably thinking that this ad is going to be the best, and then this ad is going to be maybe second. This ad's going to be second, and then this one's probably not going to win. But then if we look at the next 3 days, as you can see here, so this or do better than the ones previously. The one that did the best, which is this one right here, it continued to do the best. The other ones, they died out. And finally, we have a new one that started to perform. Now, if we look at the whole 7th to the 12th, that whole time frame, this one ended up being the second best or the best performing ad in that time frame. And then the other ones didn't end up doing anything from there. So what we actually did is we killed the ads that didn't work. We killed the ad set more specifically, and then we took these 2 ads, and these were the ones that worked the best. And so the way that we optimize our ads is we do the following. So if you look at this here, we go from the 7th to the 12th again. We follow 2 main KPIs when we are optimizing our ads. And so we are always going to be looking at the cost per lead. So for this campaign, this is the cost per lead, even though it says website schedule. This is the cost per lead. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to make sure that we have 1 lead at $65. That's what it is for this campaign. We want to have at least 1 lead at $65. And then we want to have 2 leads at $95. As you can see, this one had only 1 lead at $91, so it was very close to that. But what we also do is we put 2 creatives per ad set. So we'll put 2 creatives per ad set for this one, for this ad set specifically. So here we have one ad set with 3 similar creatives. We typically group the ad sets with 2 to 3 ads that are all pretty similar so that we can isolate tests, number one, but number two, for what I'm about to show here. Like I said, $65 for 1 lead, $95 for 2 leads. That's where we're going to cut it. But because we group ad sets by concepts, what we're also doing is we're testing the overall concept itself. So as you can see with these 3 ads, if I make this bigger, this ad is pretty similar to this ad. And so these ads are pretty similar. So what we do is we group them together so that we can see if the format is bad or if it's just the messaging that we're using in the format, the hook, the headline, etc. So because we do that, although yes, we can go ahead and kill this ad, there's also other ads that are running as well. So we want to take a look and see, is it just the hook and headline or is it the concept overall that's bad? So if we look at this entire ad, we can see there's about $121. And so our rule for ad sets, as long as we're grouping the ad sets by concept, is 1.5 times an ad. And so we look for $65 times 1.5 for 1 lead, and then $95 times 1.5 for 2 leads. So that's our rough KPIs. For this one, the ad set spent $120, and we decided to kill it before it reached that 1.5 times 95 because this is a different concept, and so we also are aware of what we're testing with our ads, so we will adjust those a little bit up or down depending on what it is, but it's anywhere from 1.25 to 1.75 for the ad set, depending on our confidence and what we are testing. For this one, we went about 1.25, so it was above that threshold of 1.25 times 95. So we didn't see 2 leads in the ad set, and therefore we decided to cut it. Now, if we go back to the other ads that I was showing you here, this ad was performing very well. It was within KPI. It was $21 a lead, and it initially saw those as well within the first 3 days. It was actually not doing super well. And so this is why it's important to have the different KPIs. So it got 1 lead at $72, but then if we look at a 4-day time frame, then it went down and it got more leads. And so once it got to that $95 range, we were at about 4 leads, and that shows us it was ready to go. And now since then, over the past 15 days, we've gotten 18 leads at $21 a piece. And so this ad was a winner. Now, if we hop into some other ads, and this ad is also a winner, and I'll hop through what we actually are seeing in the ad. But as we can see from the 7th to the 9th, the first 3 days, it did pretty well. So it got 2 leads at $37, and that only improved over time. Okay, so the cost per lead went down. And finally, we have one more ad set that we want to go through. And here is the last ad that we have. So within the first 3 days, things were looking promising because we had 2 leads at $36. But then once we expand that to the first week, to roughly the first week, things did not improve. And so it went $2, two leads at $61. And so it's going to be 1 lead at $65, 2 leads at $95, and 3 leads at $110. And that's how we optimize our ads to make sure we give it enough time, but not too much time, so that we can analyze and test more ads. And now I'm going to go through the best 2 ads from that test and then analyze them with you here. So here are the 2 ads that we are going to be analyzing. And so we are going to look at our initial hypothesis as to why we believed it was going to perform. This is a sheet that we use to track many different variables so that we can isolate different things. But if we look at the hypothesis for this ad right here, and we can go in and show you what the actual ad is. If you look at the hypothesis for this ad, the initial one was, it was a very clean image overall. It also combines the headline with the image. And if you look at the other one, the hypothesis for this one was it was a different type of clean images. It has a different headline as well. We thought it could work, and we were also combining the headline with the image here as well. And so, in terms of what we think this could be, number one, we're using different colors, fonts, and it has a different overall feel than many of the ads that we've put out in the past. So that could be a big reason as to why it performed. We're also combining images and headlines, which is something that we've been testing over the past month or so, with having the image of a roof along with the headline to go with it. These things at the bottom, although it adds to it, it's likely something that does not have an effect. At least that's what we believe. We do believe the lifetime warranty has an effect, and that's definitely going to be important for what we're looking at. And now, if we take a look at this ad over here, this was very interesting because it's a very clean ad, and what's really important about this ad is it's a landscape ad. So we haven't tested many landscape ads, and that's one thing that could have caused it to perform much better. Again, we're using an image and then a headline as well. That's something we're testing, a proven, headline that we've had in the past. But this is the first, or one of the first times that we've highlighted the 5,000 roofs in 23 years very specifically. So it could be the fact that it's this social proof right here. It also could be the shadows and everything that we added in looks very clean. Could just be the overall format, or it could be landscape. And so for us, we're going to be testing more landscape ads because this is something that could be very good because of how it shows up on Facebook. And then what we also do is we'll take a look at the actual metrics on the ad based off of what we focus on. And so for this ad specifically, it had a $5 cost per click. This one has a $10 cost per click. So very, very different types of ads here. But this one has a 25% schedule rate or clicking to lead, and then this one has 42%. Typically, our average for the account is 11%, And so these being at 25 and 42% is something to keep note of. And it's something that shows potentially there's higher quality traffic that is going through, people that are higher quality, a higher intent. And so when we cross-reference this back to the ads, it's possible that because this is a landscape ad, it could be possible that it'll target a different audience and therefore we will get higher quality leads because of it. Maybe it's just the ad itself. Maybe it's a combination of both. And then for this one, it's still higher, a higher conversion rate. It could be because we have the image of the roof right here, and maybe we want to change the landing page to include this image. It could be because we say the last roof you'll ever need. And we also put the lifetime warranty in there. So then people are more urgent. Maybe it's targeting a different demographic. At the end of the day, we don't know exactly why it worked, but we can hypothesize as to why. And what's important is that we can take all these ads and then come up with different iterations. Iterations can be the difference between making $100,000 to $1 million in roofs. Because we test a high volume of ads, in this example, this was 2 ads out of 6 or 8 that ended up performing. However, these have been performing for 2 weeks, and so we'd call it a winner. But sometimes we strike gold and we get an ultra winner that can last for 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. And those can be 1 out of 1,000. So depending on how long an ad lasts and how good the results are, we're going to spend more and more time iterating on it. And here's how we iterate on our ads. An example that we can do for this ad is we could change the headline. So what we could do instead is we could just do the last roof you'll ever need, and then take the $99 a month out and make it bigger. We could possibly change the colors. We can change the font. We can change the images here. The important thing is that we come up with a whole list of different things that we can do. Then we take a look and we say, hey, what is the top 5 to 10% that we really think is going to move the needle? And then we go ahead and test that. So for this one, I'd likely want to test the headline because this is the first thing that people see. I'd want to probably test the colors as well. So I'd want to see with the colors if I can make something stand out more with some more contrast, number one. And then with the headline, I'd like to test some different things. For this company, they're doing metal roofs. So I'd want to say a metal roof from $99 a month so that we can see if it's the $99 a month or it's the last roof you'll ever need. And one of the other tests that I'd probably want to do is I'd want to say, instead of saying the last roof you'll ever need from $99 a month, I'd want to change the headline to something with a lifetime warranty, take out the from $99 a month so that we can test it without that offer, but it still has a similar messaging. And so I'd probably say something like metal roofs with a lifetime warranty, and I would keep the bottom the same and maybe change the image just so that Facebook doesn't think it's the exact same thing. I'd want to test that in an iteration of this. And then again, like I mentioned, I would test different colors so that we can have some more contrast, make it stick out more, and probably again change the image as well. Probably change it to the same image and have them compete against each other and then see which one performs better. And then with the other ad, which is this one over here, instead of changing anything on this ad, what I would do instead is I would take my best performing ads that I've done. And so I'll give you an example of this, and I would make them landscape. So that we can test if landscape format is what is working well. So let me give you an example of that quickly. So I would take this ad and then make it landscape. I probably wouldn't even adjust anything. I would simply just make it landscape and then see how it performs to truly test if it is the landscape part that is causing it to perform, or it's just because it looks like a very clean image and the value props that we put in there. And that's 2 iterations that I would do on the ads that we just launched. And here are some examples of some iterations that we did for a winning ad in the past. Here is an example of a winning ad that we had. We called it a news format. And so it said Maryland homeowners getting new roofs for as low as $199 a month. Don't know exactly why this converted, and we truly never do. But the hypothesis as to why is because it was a news type ad. So it gets attention really well. It looks very clean as well with the black and white in the background. So we wanted to test a few different things. Was it because it was black and white? Was it because the background? Was it the headline? And so we tested different backgrounds, different offers, different messaging. And so here are some examples of those. So did you know you can get a new roof through insurance, but we wanted to have a different background in there. Here we just changed, same area, same background. We just changed the headline and the offer to an insurance-based one. And then here's an insurance-based one with $1,000, calling out the deductible. And we obviously paired this with, primary text to explain, hey, you can get this through your deductible. And here's, a different background as well. So we tested color, and here's a some different examples of that, using a roof as the background. So as you can see, we tried colored, humans, money, roof, summer callouts, adding a headline to the top like this one. For different backgrounds, we tested reframing someone right here, like less than your coffee, less than a coffee a day, being ambiguous with the insurance, having certain different messaging. And so there's many different things that you can do with a winning ad. But the most important thing is, number one, test a lot of different ads. Number two, make sure that you're always raising the bar of the account. That way your ads continually get better and better and better. Number three, once you've found a winning ad, make sure to exploit it. And our rule is the longer an ad runs and the longer it gets good results or great results for, the more and more we're going to iterate on it.